Splatoon, Nintendo's answer to the multiplayer shooter genre, and a heck of a successful one at that. Splatoon takes advantage of Nintendo's creativity to transform a less than family-friendly genre, using weapons and products that spread ink over usual firearms. But it doesn't stop there with how imaginative this concept is. If you're like me and not exactly endeared to gritty, violent shooters, this is the ideal way to enjoy the fun, or rage, of team-based combat. This is primarily an online multiplayer game, so I want to lay out a few things. I'm reviewing this game in 2023, far after its glory days of activity, so naturally, some elements are no longer present, in particular, Splatfests. This review is based on the remaining content that I can experience now. In addition to the single-player mode Octo Valley, I played enough online matches to reach level 30, and attain an A- in ranked battles. In this video, I'm going to lay out what I found to be the best and the worst aspects of this game. Be warned that full spoilers for Splatoon are on the table. The best. Number 1, the concept. This is a genius concept for a multiplayer shooter. Squid people fighting over turf by shooting ink to cover the ground is an inspired idea, but that's not even the most brilliant thing about it. Being able to effortlessly transform into a squid and swim through the ink you're covering everything with, even up walls, is empowering, meaning every little spot you cover increases your ability to move and hide. This mechanic opens up so many possibilities for approaching goals and combat. You even refill your ink when submerged, with a tank on your back always conveying how much you have left. It's an elegant blending of themes and mechanics. There are plenty of different weapon types to choose from that spread ink in all sorts of ways. It's fun to try each one out and find what works for you, and thankfully, none of them are completely worthless. There's an appreciated amount of variety, with a lot to consider when picking a weapon. How efficient it is at covering turf, splatting opponents, ink consumption, and of course, what other tools are included with the kit. Online modes also have good variety, and I particularly appreciate that none of them are straight up death matches. While splatting often helps with whatever goal you're trying to achieve, it's never the focus. Because of that, and the team dynamic, it's easy to contribute, since even if you're not taking charge and splatting opponents, shooting ink is almost always helpful in some way. This is a very strong idea, and smartly executed. Number 2, fun gameplay. Splatoon's just a really fun game to play. Shooting ink is satisfying with nice sound effects when firing and striking opponents. Aiming is easy thanks to the supplementary motion controls for exceptional accuracy. It's so tight and responsive that actions feel good to pull off, especially swimming and jumping through ink. Specials are a lot of fun since most of them have powerful effects when used at the right time. Super jumping is delightfully energized, taking full advantage of the Wii U gamepad. Utilizing it, you can easily move around the field to partner positions, aim with ink strikes, and quickly check the location of goals, or how matches are going overall. Its application here is wonderful. Ranked has 3 different modes, 2 of which are a blast. Rainmaker is a team effort to collect and carry the Rainmaker weapon into the other team's base. It's an unpredictable mode that, while certainly frustrating at times, is very dynamic, often leading to unexpected outcomes. Tower control's even better, focused around guarding a moving tower into the other team's base. This one's also very flexible, and supports a lot of different playstyles and strategies. Stages have varied layouts. Not all of them are a good time, but each one feels distinct. Piranha Pit and Museum de Alfonsino are my favorites. With such novel ideas and easy to enjoy gameplay, Splatoon is effortlessly addicting. Number 3, Octo Valley. This is a well-designed single-player campaign. While not terribly long, each level focuses on a creative idea using ink, constantly introducing or expanding on mechanics. They're impressive levels, polished and well put together, with generous checkpoints and cleverly hidden secrets. You'll even unlock pages of history explaining the origins of this world and its inhabitants, presented in a tasteful way. It's a lot of fun to piece this stuff together, and feels very authentic. It's easy to blow through this mode in just a few hours, but with Amiibo you can also play through levels with charger and roller type weapons. and there are even timed and limited ink challenges which all get a lot more out of these levels. Boss fights are all well done, utilizing your unique abilities to dodge attacks and create paths to weak points. They're not especially challenging, but they have a balanced escalation, and it's easy to get splatted for a single mistake, so they do require focus. The final challenge capping off this breezy campaign is the ridiculous final boss, DJ Octavio. And dang, talk about a superb capstone to the tone of this game. DJ Octavio looks cool to start, with an undeniable jam accompanying him. This is a splendid final battle utilizing Splatoon's mechanics, combining focused shooting while going through a platforming level. It's an exceptionally well done final sequence, with a lot of energy and personality. Halfway through, it cranks things up even further, with the Squid Sisters joining in for the final push, and this brings me to number 4, music. This is a killer soundtrack, and deserves a lot of credit for Splatoon's distinct tone and style. DJ Octavio's theme, as well as the already iconic Calamari incantation, ensure Octo Valley's finale is a major crowd pleaser. These are exceptional pieces, and this extends to most of the soundtrack. These high-energy tracks are my kind of rhythm, superb at getting you pumped for matches. They're a joy to listen to in the heat of battle, and surprisingly creative, using all sorts of noises and vocals. I'm happy to rock out to the Squid Sisters any day, and the concerts they can host, also with Amiibo support, are a captivating novelty. While most tracks have short loops, they're so absorbing and catchy, it's easy to not even notice. And while I don't love every track, I can't pick out many that are specifically unpleasant on the ears. It's an out-of-the-ordinary selection for Nintendo in particular, and worth checking out for something really fresh. Number 5, a fresh style. Alongside the music, Splatoon's charming identity is a result of its creative creatures. Inklings are wonderfully simplistic, with distinguishable eyes, ears, and feet. It's an appealing look for squid people, and a great base design for player avatars. I also really love that their hair color changes to match the ink. This is an interesting idea for a world, showing all sorts of undersea life living on the land after some kind of apocalypse. And everyone has a strong identity. Sheldon, Annie, Spike. Character design is on point, all around. Judd, the referee cat, is adorable, and surprisingly fits the setting. But the unmatched stars of the show are of course Callie and Marie, the Squid Sisters who introduce stages at regular intervals, with adorably witty banter. They're likable, entertaining to listen to, and have appealing designs. They even wave if you go up to the window between broadcasts. Inkopolis itself is a great hub setting. The art direction lends it a unique vibe. The ink itself is gorgeously vivid, with contrasting colors so matches pop and look visually spectacular. Menus also contribute to this game's style. The speedy effect while moving through the shops is a great example. The strength of Splatoon's aesthetic is immediately apparent. This is an unmistakably fresh series for Nintendo's colorful library. Splatoon understands a lot of basics for a fun game that you want to keep playing. But this is a competitive game, and several things come with that, so it's not always going to be a fun time. The worst. Number 1, the woes of competition. Great things can come from working as a team. It's nice to not feel like everything's resting on your shoulders alone, and working together effectively can be remarkably satisfying. Unfortunately, this is a two-way street, and the randomness of matchmaking often makes it feel like results are out of your control, and ultimately up to which group you got paired with. Team synergy is essential, especially in the ranked modes, and complete blowouts can happen immediately if one team synergizes better than the other. It doesn't feel good to be on the losing side, and since team dynamic is so important to performing well, it's easy to feel like you're in a situation you can't turn around on your own. Even with an effective performance, you can still lose the match, and it doesn't feel good to fail when you're contributing more than everyone else. It's far worse when disconnects are involved. Often, players will vanish mid-game, or even at the start of matches because of a connection issue or something similar. It's incredibly demotivating to start a match already down a team member. While you can still win as a squad of 3, there's no denying it's an uphill battle that requires very skilled playing and tactics to turn around. It never feels good to be put in this situation. And you can say things like, don't care about your rank and just enjoy playing, but there's an active benefit to increasing rank, so it feels bad when you lose it. Winning and losing is an integral part of any competitive game, so you're not always going to feel rewarded for your efforts. But there's another depressing possibility of online play that's absolutely no fun to deal with. Number 2, hackers. For how much I've played this game, that is to say over the course of a month, I'm shocked at how many hackers are present in this community. In several matches, hackers were clearly abusing mechanics and systems, and I have absolutely no tolerance for this. It takes all the fun out of the experience, and is obviously miserable for the losing team, especially when it happens in ranked mode. The most common hack I've seen is coding the entire stage in ink, making it fairly impossible for one team to complete the objective, and I've even seen this happen multiple times over the course of one match. Infinite bomb spam's another example. I've seen 2 players with Rainmakers at the same time. I've even seen people inking the field when the match hasn't even started. I'm sure there are other exploits I didn't even notice. Hacking is completely unacceptable in an online multiplayer environment, and I have no respect for anyone taking part in this. The fact that it's possible at all is a complete blight to online matchmaking. Number 3, Splat Zones. I called out Rainmaker and Tower Control as fun ranked modes earlier, and the third one, Splat Zones, is honestly pretty unenjoyable. It's about keeping control of 1 or 2 areas with ink. A good idea in concept, but rarely fun in execution. Simply put, it's way too easy for landslides to happen, and most matches feel like a coin toss for which team gets steamrolled. There's often a snowball effect, where the first team to gain control keeps it and crushes the rest of the match. It's a very inflexible mode, especially compared to the others, and the most dependent on good teamwork, so it's easy to feel like there wasn't much you could do about it on your own. It's an all or nothing kind of mode. Your team either gets it together in the first 20 seconds or doesn't. And unfortunately, a lot of stages are designed in a way to support landslides, making it even more challenging to get the upper hand once you've lost it. Speaking of the stages though, number 4, the worst stages. While I appreciate the variety Splatoon's maps offer, roughly half of them aren't much fun to play on. Port Mackerel's the worst inclusion, distinctly cramped in a way that makes it the most prone to landslide victories, regardless of the mode. It's a very rigid stage, and heavily encourages spawn camping. Bluefin Depot's another annoying layout that inspires annoying tactics, and visually very ugly. Hammerhead Bridge is similarly off-putting. It's easy to have a frustrating time here. Kelp Dome's another restrictive one, and just not fun to get around. Arowana Mall's linear design means it's easy to get locked out due to the high ground in the center. Blackbelly Skate Park's just too small. Most ranked modes here are over very quickly, for whichever team overpowered the other first, and its small nature makes it prone to spawn camping. Stage preference is of course something that will vary greatly from person to person. For example, Moray Towers, while regularly held as one of the worst stages in the game, I actually don't mind, but I fully admit a skilled Charger player can make it a dismal experience. Urchin Underpass, Flounder Heights, and Mahi Mahi Resort are often brutal experiences for how easily you can get splatted out of nowhere. The worst part about not loving this many stages is, unless you're playing with friends, you don't have any control over what's available. It's the 2 stages for Turf Wars and the 2 for Ranked, rotating every 4 hours. And if you don't like them or the mode they're combined with, tough luck. Enjoy Splat Zones on Port Mackerel for the next 4 hours. It'd be great if there was a way to play more casual versions of Tower Control or other ranked modes as well, where rank isn't on the line. Number 5, Chargers. I'm not a big fan of Chargers. Plenty of players will gravitate to this kind of playstyle, but it's the most uninteresting weapon to me because it's mostly about getting kills. A good sniper on the opposite side is really suffocating, and I find matches are often more fun when they're just not present. Dying out of nowhere from someone safe on their perch is annoying when it happens, and to always have to consider. Again, it's a very stifling playstyle. I like Splatoon's focus on completing other tasks, and not just going for kills, but chargers are intrinsically linked to that objective. I suppose they're a necessary inclusion for any shooter-type game, and I won't deny something would feel missing if they were taken out entirely. But as is, they ask for a lot of attention whenever present. Finally, matchmaking can be a laborious process. Throwing me into a screen to wait for roughly 3 minutes with no way of backing out is ridiculous. It'd also be nice if Judd gave you your win streak bonuses after stages turn over, since you're tossed back to Inkopolis anyway. It sucks to lose your bonus because you lost track of time, and seems like something easily remedied. But that covers my feelings on Splatoon. Playing this game today, there's still a lot of fun here. Despite my gripes with its competitive elements, this is a superbly executed concept that's easy to get into and enjoy. The style and presentation of Splatoon has already set it as a Nintendo icon, and its gameplay is really what deserves it. This is an appealing world with thoughtful mechanics and challenges. If you'd like to play a third-person team-based shooter, but don't want the violence they come with, this one's absolutely worth checking out. Just be aware of the emotional effects that come with anything competitive. Splatoon's an impressive new idea, addictive to play, and, at least in my experience, one of the best games on the Wii U. And I'm happy I played it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked my video, subscribe and check out my Patreon. Thank you so much to all of my patrons for your support. I'll see you next time.